I'm gonna stop. Oh, hey,
so what you know about that? Not a goddamn thing, cause your ass ain't too clever. Call you over, I ain't sober, so hit you with the backswing. And you know how that stinks, but so's the shame that brings. Your ass is stuck, now ask me if I gives a fuck. I run them up, pressing guns up against your gut. Bust to my left, when these fools ain't acting right, I still got blood on my Nikes from the strap last night. Creeping through your block, we can see your spouse. See your silhouette and open fire at your house. Modern day gangsters, and the G's don't want answers. Straight up, we're gonna blast us. Bring the war, fuck a street brawl. I'ma ride till my enemies are leaking on the floor. When the dogs start barking lots, after the straps stop popping shots.
Gang, who also oversaw the operations of the Lil Psychos. But the Lil Psychos faced a threat when one of Puppet's Mexican mafia rivals tried to cut into their profits. Puppet's rival had sent 18th Street member Carlos Truco Lopez into Lil Psycho's territory to collect street taxes.
He was asked to go in and basically take over the collections. Long story short, there was a feud going on. Puppet basically said, in a nutshell, that's not going to happen.
On the night of September 4th, 1994, Termite and another gunman waited for Truco in this narrow alleyway in the Westlake neighborhood. A big money-making opportunity on 18th Street's turf in and around MacArthur Park. A gang-infested haven, the park catered to all walks of life and provided one-stop shopping for anyone seeking a fix. Termite was determined to squeeze every last penny out of the drug merchants in the MacArthur Park area, and he ordered the Lil Psychos to step up their extortion schemes.
Termite had the gang working 24/7 with 2 shifts a day of collectors. He took an operation that was making maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a week to making $5,000 to $10,000. So he doubled, tripled, quadrupled the profits.
He made sure
was known as the Senora, or the lady boss. She collected his money and ran his business on.
They might sell heroin on one corner, they might sell cocaine on another corner, crack cocaine, whatever the drugs are. Most of it was crack cocaine. Those lieutenants then would get people under them to watch the streets, to watch the street corners. Those little street gangsters or whatever would go out and observe the streets, see who's selling the drugs.
It's like, well, you get rid of one, but there was going to be another one, and they just never die out. They just keep coming.
Today, 18th Street remains a deadly coalition of nearly 30 sets that show no sign of letting up. They've even embraced the 21st century with an official website.
They use the internet in order to strive to get their message out there that they're one of the biggest and baddest gangs in Southern California.
Recruitment has ebbed and flowed over the years, but most experts believe that gang life will never lose its appeal in troubled urban environments.
The first time I realized that gang banging was a bunch of bull was when I got a felony, my first felony. After that, I realized that the gangs ain't gonna give you nothing. If you go to jail, they're not gonna take care of you. Being a gang member, you don't get no insurance, you get no SSI, you get no 401k, you don't get nothing out of it.
But Jesse's decision to break away didn't sit well with his fellow 18th Street gangbangers.
They want me dead because of me choosing to be a normal, everyday citizen in life and not following the gang lifestyle. I just decided to grow up. That's a phase in your life where you leave behind. They can't see that, you know.
Jesse is just as determined to fight for the life that he leads now as when he belonged to 18th Street. He expresses no doubt about what he must do to protect himself and his family.
Their parents work several jobs, and they're left home alone. And these guys on the street take them in or start buying them things, spending money, telling them that they could have the same thing as far as money goes if they join the gang.
18th Street gave these immigrant kids an identity in their new country. But the gang wanted much more in return.
They know those guys don't got nowhere to go, so what are they gonna do? They just brainwash these guys real fast. Hey, you know, get you some money or get your place to stay. And he will be like, oh, hell yeah, what do you want me to do? Well, just, you know, come and get into my gang. All right.
18th Street probably grew up the quickest and expanded most rapidly of all the gangs.
18th Street's open recruiting policy even extends to children, some as young as 11 years old.
They got the nickname the Children's Army because they try to solicit kids to join their gang in elementary school.
As 18th Street's membership soared, by their rivals.
They were like in a blitzkrieg. They were taking over turfs, taking over drug areas, taking over criminal activities, and if you didn't cooperate with them, you got hurt.
They're gonna take over the whole block. That's how they do it. You may not want to join them or whatever, they don't give you an option. Maybe I could be the nerdiest looking kid on the block. They're gonna check me into the hood.
By 1990, 18th Street ranked as one of the largest and deadliest gangs in LA County.
It's all about fear. It's all about intimidation.
They're dangerous in large measure because of their numbers. Now, if you're a resident of the community and you have a beef or a dispute with one member of the gang, you have a beef or a dispute with 100, 200, 500 members of the gang.
But the independence of 18th Street's dozens of different sets did not sit well with California's most powerful prison gang, the Mexican Mafia, or La M.A.
The Mafia, in its attempt to control Hispanic gangs in Southern California, many Hispanic gangs fall in line because they fear the Mafia.
For those who defied their orders, the Mexican Mafia meted out violent punishment.
Gang members, if they go to prison, they know they're going to be assaulted. They're going to be green lighted. So,
Van Ness Heights, Minnesota, April 9th, 2006. As convenience store clerk Amar Al-Basad neared the end of a Sunday night shift, two 18th Street members wielding knives rushed in and leapt over the counter. They slashed at him as he desperately tried to shield himself from the onslaught.
We were willing to shoot, stab, steal, whatever.
For 18 on their jerseys and body tattoos, these bangers want to announce to the world who's boss.
They'll take their shirts off and they'll strut their stuff out there that, hey, I'm a big bad 18th Street gang member. And nobody's gonna touch them. And because if you go and pick on that guy, then he's gonna have 10 other guys coming backing him.
Growing up in an area bordering LA's, the streets that Jesse and his fellow soldiers hustled are the same ones that Detective James Corcoran patrols.
You can see right now it's relatively early in the morning, so it's quiet. But these are by and large good people just trying to make a living, raise their families. It is, however, certain times
18th Street's mark or tag can be found everywhere. Different variations on the number 18 are the most common markings.
you can see here SS Southside, the Roman numerals 18 right here, and then ST Street. You can see it's already been crossed out, been disrespected by a rival gang.
Street territory on the city's west side. They were checking out a tip about a gang party. They parked about a half block away from the location and began their surveillance. With their attention on the house, they failed to notice a man approaching the back of their cruiser. 20-year-old Caterino Gonzalez, a member of 18th Street, aimed his partner was uninjured. Gonzalez was later arrested and convicted of murder, but he never offered an explanation for the shooting.
There's speculation on that, but we believe that Gonzalez had been stopped previously by Cuesta and his partner, and this was his way of getting back as a disrespect.
Gonzalez became a hero to his fellow gang members. They would pay honor to him while taunting police at the same time.
A couple years after Phil was killed, near the anniversary of his death, 18th Street had written all kinds of graffiti and disrespect to the Los Angeles Police Department. If they take out a police officer, then to them it's like the ultimate goal.
We would approach somebody and ask them what neighborhood they belong to. You guys got any problems with our gang? And if they said whatever, we would take that as a disrespect and start beef at that moment. If we had a gun, we would use it. If we had a knife, we would use it. If we had battery, we would use it. It was just on and popping, cracking it.
The independence of 18th Street's dozens of different sets did not sit well with California's most powerful prison gang, the Mexican Mafia, or La M.A.
The Mafia, in its attempt to control Hispanic gangs in Southern California, many Hispanic gangs fall in line because they fear the Mafia.
For those who defied their orders, the Mexican Mafia meted out violent punishment.
Gang members, if they go to prison, they know they're going to be assaulted. They're going to be green lighted. So that's the fear that's out there. Second, other members of their clique in prison are green lighted. So that they literally get calls back from prison or letters, hey, homeboy, you got to pay up. You got to get in line or else we're going to get beaten or killed in prison.
You have no remorse for people that try to kill you. You don't have no pity or think about, if I'm dead, my parents are going to be sad. If I'm dead, my kids are going to be sad. If I'm dead, who's going to take care of them? Who's going to do this? So people that put me in that situation, I have no remorse for them to kill them.
Gang members come and go with each new generation. Yet the most enduring figures of 18th Street have been immortalized in myth and legend. Their names appear on this wall and are now part of the community's identity.
Really, about half of the people or more on this wall were either prosecuted by the FBI and convicted or are dead by the hands of other gangsters.
Their stories, however treacherous or tragic, define 18th Street and will last for the ages. And as the gang continues to grow and evolve, the next generation will carve its own place in history.